involved a matatu and lorry occurred when the two vehicles collided head-on. Eyewitnesses say the driver of the lorry lost control of the vehicle following a puncture, forcing the lorry to veer towards the oncoming matatu on the Banana Limuru Road. The 14-seater matatu is reported to have been overloaded with more than 19 people at the time of the accident. The injured were rushed to Tigoni Hospital. The accident caused heavy traffic jam, and last night accident follows another accident or mishap on Thika Highway yesterday morning, on which 4 people died. Police have appealed to drivers to desist from speeding during this rainy season. Indeed, we must be more careful on our roads. Now, more than 500 internally displaced persons have had to leave their camps in Gilgil following the heavy rains that pounded the area and its environs last night. The IDPs had to be relocated to Murendu Primary School this morning after their tents were flooded. Mala Kivile has more on this story.
Over 500 IDPs living in various camps in Gilgil have been displaced by the heavy rains that pounded the area and its environs last night. The IDPs from Wanarona, Gema, Vomilia and Kihoto camps had to be relocated to Murendu Primary School after their tents were flooded.
Tulinyeshewa usiku, mahema yenye tulipewa imetoboka, maji yote, hata mkienda kwa nyumba saa hii maji imejaa kwa manyumba. Sasa sisi tuko na shida na bado tumepitia shida.
Mvua ikawa nyingi, ikaingia ndani, hata kwingine ilikuwa ina karibu ya dhiri watoto, kwa sababu mtoto alikuwa anaona kwao mvua maji imezidi, anatoroka kwa jirani kwenda kuangalia kama anaweza kupata msaada. So kuna mtoto mmoja wakati katika ile hali ya kwenda kutafuta mahali pengine akaanguka kwa maji, na wakati duru ilipigwa tulipata kumshika na kumtoa kwa maji sababu maji yalikuwa mengi.
Speaking in his office, Gilgil DC Elmi Shafi admitted that the rains which had been pounding the area for the last 3 weeks had wreaked havoc, affecting both the IDPs and the locals.
Quite a number of families, whether IDPs or general population who live in the lowlands of the district, have been affected by floods.
However, the Central Rift Regional Coordinator for Resettlement, Alois Lento Imaga, confirmed that the earlier plans to resettle the 136 families had been suspended due to the heavy rains which had flooded the farms where the IDPs were to be resettled.
As soon as the weather condition improves, we will be able to take the balance, which is 100 families from the same 2 camps. We are assessing, we are monitoring. Our officers are on the ground in Laikipia and also in Nyandarua, and as soon as the situation improves, if the roads becomes dry, then we will be able to report those families.
With regards to the Mao Forest evictees, Leto Imaga said that out of the 3,036 families which were kicked out of the forest, 264 had already been resettled. The IDPs have also expressed their concern over the possibility of a disease outbreak if no quick action is taken. Meanwhile, several people have been forced out of their homes in Magarini following a heavy downpour in the coastal region. Mala Kivila, KTN Live at 1.
The Parliamentary Committee on Renewable Energy and Climate Change says Parliament is working on a climate change bill that will address issues that affect the environment and human life. Speaking at a workshop in Kakamega, Committee Chairman David Koech and his Deputy Wilbur Otichilo said once the bill has been enacted into law, Kenya will have clear guidelines on climate change and that the bill will also guide future policies on environment. Otichilo said the law is aimed at ensuring that adaptive measures, programs and projects to curb environmental degradation are taken, and they urged Kenyans to protect the environment to avert extreme and erratic weather patterns.
We must also ensure that our people are safe. When we talk of rain, we should not be waiting until the disasters have happened, and therefore the need to sensitize ourselves as a country on disaster management. That we should not wait until we see the floods in Budalangi for us to go out there and try to rescue people. We must build dikes in advance.
This bill is extremely important because, as you realize, climate change affects the lives of human beings on this earth planet. And therefore, the enaction of this bill will be so crucial because climate change is a fact. Scientific results show that climate change is going to continue, and therefore we must prepare to adapt to it.
A middle-aged man has been stabbed to death at a restaurant in Nakuru town in a suspected love triangle that turned deadly. The deceased man was reportedly caught with someone else's wife, and police have arrested a suspect in connection with the incident.
Curious onlookers and residents of Nakuru town gathered outside the hotel where the incident took place in order to get a glimpse of the ill-fated victim and the couple. The middle-aged man was allegedly cornered by the husband of a woman suspected to have been having an affair with the victim.
Mimi nilikuwa nimesimama pale kwa mat karibu na hiyo lodging. Nikaona jamaa amekuja kaagi msichana poa, wakapanda juu. Kidogo jamaa mwingine akaingia na akaingia na kisu. Kidogo akatoka mbio, ule jamaa kutoka mbio kwa stairs, akafanya nini? Akaanguka chini. Jamaa kamuingia kisu, jamaa akafanya nini? Akakimbia akakuja kuangukia hapa hivi.
Some of the eyewitnesses claim it could have been a setup because shortly after the victim entered the main lodging with the woman's husband showed up and started a fight with the victim, stabbed to death by the husband who immediately ran away.
Tumesimama hapo kwa mlango ya lodging. Hii harakati tumesimama tukiwa watu wengi, tukastukia watu wawili wanateremuka mbio, mmoja amedungwa kisu hapa ya shingo. Ndio tukateremka tukapiga nduru juu alikuwa anataka kudunga mpaka bibi yake. Huyo mwingine alikuwa anasema tu jamaa amebeba bibi yake na ameacha watoto kwa nyumba. Si ndio akakimbia akakuja huyo jamaa mwenye amedungwa kisu akakimbia akakuja. Sisi tukajaribu kufuata huyo jamaa, tukaacha kumfuata, lakini watu wa pikipiki wakamfuata wakamshika ndio wakampeleka police station.
The deputy OCPD Nakuru Japheth Mwiricha said they have a suspect in custody.
Now in custody waiting for further investigation.
The incident happened at Langalanga stage in Nakuru town. Horakarani reporting for KTN from Nakuru.
An 18-year-old student from Athinga village in Tigania is recuperating after attempting an abortion. The girl, who has been taken to Meru Level 5 hospital, is said to be in critical condition. Area residents are now blaming backstreet clinics for the increase in cases of abortion in Meru. Human rights activist Evangeline Kangai says law enforcement agencies have turned a blind eye to the backstreet clinics, who charge as low as 600 shillings to carry out abortions. Area OCPD Charles Cascade now says they have started a crackdown on people operating illegal clinics used in procuring abortions.
Kuna mama mmoja amezoea kufanya hiyo kazi, inaonekana kama ni karia yake kwa sababu kwa sublocation mzima anajulikana. Kwa hivyo wachana huwa wanaenda kwake, anawalipisha 1,000 na kuwatoa mimba, na hiyo imekuwa kama kazi yake. Kwa hivyo alikuwa amefanyia hiyo mchana wa shule form 3.
Anybody who assists or who terminate the life of a person or a fetus as such is culpable and will be charged in a court of law.
You are watching KTN Live at 1. We take a short break now, but do stay with us. We'll be back in a moment with more news.
Je, unapenda na kuelewa vyema kabumbu? Basi chukua mic. Bonga boli katika ulimwengu wako wa mabingwa Super Sport.
Anakwenda tena, anakwenda goal. Chenga moja lakini goal. Inakuwa ni nguo kuchanika na nyasi kuumia. Vijana wa AFC Leopards wanafunga na kufanya mambo kuwa moja kwa bila, ndio hivyo.
Nairobi mnaweza. Karibuni Nakumatt Prestige Mall kuanzia tarehe 26 hadi 29 saa 3 hadi saa 12 jioni. Hii ni nafasi yako ya kujiunga na ulimwengu wa mabingwa Super Sport.
Okay, mwenye anafaa kublemiwa kuna tuwezi sema ni mtu yoyote cause hao watu wawili wako na fault. Chile anafaa kwa prepared, anafaa kwa najua zile consequences atafesa akipata ball. Na Charlie pia anafaa kwa responsible.
Hata mimi naona tu ni both cause wangekuwa serious ama wangekuwa napendana, wangekaa wa agree before wafanye hivyo, ama wafanye sex.
Dem akiget pregnant afai kublame Charlie. Sababu angesema yeye itumiwe. Yeye angesema itumiwe kama kwa ready to get pregnant. And if the man was not ready, hata yeye angesema.
A great day starts with Pampers Night. A great day starts with Pampers Night.
Because babies sleep better in Pampers. Pampers has a unique extra dry layer that absorbs wetness and distributes it evenly, keeping your baby up to 5 times drier all night long. For a great day. 1 Pampers equals 1 dry night. Endorsed by the Kenya Pediatric Association.
Welcome back to KTN Live at 1. To the international scene, most vulnerable groups in Somalia, among them women, children and the elderly, are living a hard life in displacement camps, having fled domestic unrest in their country. Mogadishu is home to the largest concentration of internally displaced persons day in, day out, as more Somalis flock the city to seek safety. Here's more on that story.
Hundreds are flooding this overpopulated camp, the largest in Mogadishu, in search of safety from clashes between the African Union troops, AMISOM, and the militant group, the Al-Shabaab. They are moving to this camp only to subject themselves to poor living conditions. Those who have contributed the least to the ongoing war are the most affected. The elderly and children who are visibly weak and in need of food. They sit still with little or no assistance. The life in the camp becomes harder every day. They wait for relief food in their shanty hut, something which they say has not happened for the last couple of months. They are forced to succumb to long nights of hunger. Some of those in these camps are recuperating from bullet wounds after clashes in Somalia's Bay Area.
Guinea-Bissau President Raimundo Pereira and Carlos Gomez Jr. arrived in Abidjan aboard an Ivorian government plane last evening after soldiers in Guinea-Bissau released them earlier in the day. The two leading politicians were arrested in an April 12th coup. Guinea-Bissau military said they would accept the planned deployment to the country of over 600 soldiers from West African Regional Bloc ECOWAS. This could be an indication that the junta is looking for a good negotiating ground and potential return to constitutional rule, according to ministers in Abidjan. The pair were released a day after ECOWAS announced the deployment of a force in Guinea-Bissau to secure the return to civilian rule and threatened targeted sanctions against soldiers who blocked the process. The coup took place halfway through elections in the former Portuguese colony, which has endured decades of instability and becomes a transit hub for Latin American cocaine, mostly headed for Europe. Rashid Nini, one of the most prominent Moroccan journalists in recent years, is due to be released today after serving a one-year prison sentence. Nini, who partly owns the Al Masr newspaper, was sentenced for crimes that included discrediting a court, trying to influence the judiciary, and publishing information about untrue criminal offences. The journalist has vehemently denied the charges.
The court has repeatedly denied the prominent journalist bail after his arrest on 28 April last year, and King Mohammed VI refused to grant him a pardon on many occasions. His lawyer, including Mustafa Ramid, who became Justice Minister after the latest general election last November, appealed against the sentence, but the verdict was upheld by the court. Nini had become a household name in a country where newspaper sales are among the lowest in the region by writing about alleged widespread corruption in government circles. His daily column, Chof Chof, which could be translated into Look and See, frequently targeted what he viewed as acts of graft and injustice. Nini's cause has gained momentum among human rights associations across the globe, such as Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch. Last January, Oxfam Movib, the first political independent and non-religious development organization in association with PEN International, granted Rashid Nini the PEN Award at its annual ceremony in The Hague.
Several thousand Egyptians marched against the country's defense ministry in Cairo on Friday night to demand the dissolution of the Presidential Election Commission after it upheld a ban on 2 Islamist presidential candidates and allowed Hosni Mubarak's former prime minister to run. The protesters, mainly from the ultra-conservative Salafi movement, with many of them supporters of Hazem Salah Abu Ismail, who was disqualified from the race because of his mother held dual U.S.-Egyptian citizenship. The military blocked the protesters' path to the defense ministry. Suspicions over the army's intentions were fueled in the past week when Ahmed Shafiq, Mubarak's last prime minister, who, like every president for the past 6 decades has held a top military post, was first thrown out of the race and then reinstated hours before the final list was declared. The ruling army has pledged to hand over power by July 1st. The presidential race has attracted 13 candidates. The elections are set for May 23rd and 24th, with a runoff scheduled in June. And finally, you have been watching KTN Live at 1, and you have seen the best and perhaps even the worst of prospective football commentators. The event is currently underway at the Prestige Mall on Ngong Road in Nairobi. Here is just a tip of what to expect on the KTN Sports Final program that will be coming up at 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Kabisa, mpira naenda hapo, moja mbili tatu goal. Ayawa ingine ndonjo yawa, mpira imeingia yawa. Hey, hiyo ni bao kubwa kabisa kwa timu ya tena ingine. Goal. Tena yawa. Lakini wewe ni mara moja tu peke yake. Ilikuwa bao kubwa sana katika timu ya Sofapaka. Hapo Babu Ngale aliweza kupiga bao ngepo kali katika nduki huko kando ya goalkeeper huko hakuweza kunyaka hiyo mpira. Basi mpira ilikuwa moja kwa Sofapaka katika ulango, ulikuwa mkali, usiku mkali katika mpira huu sana. Basi tena inaenda cross basi
wanaanza pale ngoma pale bado anakimbia pale sikaji ngoma inarudia bado ngoma kuweza kuonyesha ile move ambayo Gor Mahia walichukua pale wakaweza kuweka ngoma ndani ya neti. Wachukua ngoma pale katikati ya uwanja Gor Mahia. Anakwenda hapa kijana ni Moses Otieno bila shaka, kule winga kushoto achukua pale nane kiingia Ibrahim pia cross pale.
Meanza sasa ya kuku ni mayai, ya mende ni kuzaazao vyovyo. Ndio huyo ameshika huyo mpira, ndio huyo anaendelea. Tia bidii utatulia ndugu yangu. Don't worry. Halala ndio hiyo. Piga pass. Ndio huyo. Goalkeeper ameudaka wa goal. Moja hiyo.
Thank you for watching KTN Live at 1. Have yourselves a blessed afternoon.